Hello and welcome everyone. Today we're having Kadeem is our guest, and he's going to be talking about a lot of things, mainly status correction. So Kadeem, welcome. Welcome to Afrikan
How you
Voice.
doing, everybody?
It's good to have you. First, I'd like you to tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? Where were you raised?
My name is Kadeem, y'all. How y'all doing? I was born in New York, raised in the Bronx. I'm 24. I own 2 businesses, and I'm just really excited about life.
Can you tell us a little bit about who were the people that you looked up to growing up? For example, what type of did television play a huge role in your life growing up?
I don't have much people I looked up to at that time. I would say that I looked up more to like elders in the community, and older brothers, uncles. So I didn't really have like anybody on like TV per se to look up to, but television did play a role, as far as like like the cartoons, little comedy stuff that I used to like. But a lot has changed. I'm not interested in TV anymore. So it's just like it's totally different, compared to now.
I totally know what you mean, because years ago I kind of stopped watching TV. I have a TV, but I hardly turn it on. What were the things that drew you to those elders that you looked up to in the community? What was it about them?
The knowledge. The
Okay,
knowledge
can you tell us a little bit about that knowledge?
Yeah, so they would just like I used to go to like little community events in Harlem, and like they would have like long lectures, and they would just go over a lot pertaining to who we are as a people, our nationality, how to operate in civics, what I'm saying, and just just going over like basic fundamentals, and within that community you learn a lot from other people, other than the teachers themselves. So like they really went hard on like really teaching us about who we are, because once you know who you are, then everything pretty much falls into place.
So recently, you and I met you through this group that I am part of, and there was this buzz about not learning about it, but about status correction. I became interested in wanting to correct my status. Can you tell me about how you became interested in that particular subject?
I became interested in the subject when I came across an elder by the name Toriano Obashango L. In my 5 years of studying jurisprudence, law, and civics, he was the only one that stood out to me in his approach to status correction. And his approach is starting with blood, the principle of jus sanguinis, which ties into your nationality. So after learning a little bit more about his process, it resonated with me, and I took action, and I found out that I am Aboriginal myself, by way of the genetic markers that were found in my DNA that ties me to the original groups that populated the Americas before Columbus got here. So yeah, and then after finding that out, it just started to become more interesting.
What does the process itself entail? If somebody is on here watching and they're like, well, I'd like to go into that, what does it take? How do I get started?
Generally, it is you removing any and all presumptions of you being Civiliter Mortuus, which means one accounted dead in law. That's first things first, which means, said persons with such status in agreement, with being a artificial person and ens legis legal fiction, i.e., the all capital letters name. If you continue to agree to be that, then by law you cannot speak, you cannot enforce rights. You can only enjoy privileges, which are and so with you correcting your status, I actually wrote down a few things here. Hold on one second, because I actually went
Sure.
in a little more in depth
Hmm.
on this. So again, cannot speak, enforce rights, rather privileges. So people who don't have their status corrected are vessels of the United States corporation, subject to corporate mandates, such as vaccines, as you guys can see right now,
Hmm.
which are becoming mandatory for people with dead status, who cannot invoke the Bible, treaties, constitution, or other contracts that protects the natural people in their proper person. So correcting your status is you getting in your proper status, your proper person. Sui juris. That's a Latin term for being in your proper status, meaning you no longer have a legal disability. And so, in addition to that, I also must add that there's levels to status correction. So you see, some people, they only correct their status on a commercial contractual level, with no eusanguineous principles added or enforced, versus some who correct their status in accordance with natural law, eusanguineous principles coupled with the commercial contractual aspect, giving one in law what we call droit droit. And that is all I have to say on that subject matter.
Anyone correct their status? Do you have to come from a certain place? Do you have to be born in the U.S.? Can
Well,
anybody?
if you're doing it on a commercial contractual, if you're doing it in that aspect, in the commercial contractual aspect, then anyone of sound mind can correct their status. Now, when you're talking about enforcing Aboriginal rights, you have to be an Aboriginal. You have to be able to prove that you're Aboriginal. So, anyone can't claim Aboriginal status.
Okay.
Like, for example, I'm just give one example. You have people born in America that have ancestry that comes from West Africa. I'll take myself for example. Whereas I'm found to be American aborigine, but I have a strong percentage of West African ancestry. We have, and this is just an example. We have people from Nigeria. We have a few people who wanted to do the process that I myself went through, and many others, as far as being enforcing Aboriginal rights. We had Nigerians, who came in with 100% Nigerian blood, with no American, ancestry of any sort, and they weren't able to complete the first part of the process because they didn't have any American aborigine ancestry. And that's all I have to say.
Interesting. So, how do you know if Aboriginal or not? Is there a process you have to go through? Do you have to take a test to determine that?
Yeah, so the process in proving that you're Aboriginal is you identifying any sub-Saharan African ancestry in your DNA, and also any they've updated 23andMe updated their system, so now they have the section for Indigenous American. So if you have that and any sub-Saharan African ancestry, which is 90% of all so-called African American people, yeah, you're Aboriginal by DNA. So if it's by DNA, that means it can't be argued. It's a fact.
Okay.
So that's
And
what.
Is that something that you offer in the status correction for people as well?
I offer just the understanding of the process more so. Um,
Okay.
the process was founded by another individual. I mentioned him in the video earlier, Toriano Obashango L.
Okay.
His website is obashangoL.com. That's where you can find more information about the process. Uh, but in the Discord, we talk a lot about that process, and how to navigate with the process.
Mm-hmm.
And because a lot of people get started and they're confused. They don't really know what to do. They
Mm-hmm.
have a lot of stuff already going on in their life. So I'm the one, who finished the process, already used it in certain aspects. Uh, so that's the purpose I serve, as far as people um, embarking on that 11-step process and being a part of the Discord group that I have created.
What are some like books that you would recommend people starting to read just to kind of get an idea of the whole status correction?
That's a great question. There's several books.
Or
You can
even maybe YouTube videos that, maybe they could watch, because I know those are easier to kind of dissect or
Yeah,
digress.
definitely. Videos are definitely easier to dissect. Uh, you can look up Taj Tariq Bey,
Okay.
on Facebook. His name is spelled TajTarikBey. He's one of the elders in this movement. He's like he's in his 70s, so he has a lot of experience in this, in this knowledge.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, he's a great person to learn from. Just starting out fresh, you don't have any idea. He can really break down the basics
Hmm.
very well for you. You can also look up Toriano Obashanga on YouTube as well. You can look
Okay.
up also another individual, Jonah Bay. Yeah, there's a lot of people out there
Hmm.
who can actually find this information.
So the process itself from start to finish, how long would you say it would take? Like 3 months, 2 months? How long does it normally
So
take?
the 11-step process, particularly because there's many processes when it comes to status correction. There's so many different processes,
Hmm.
but we stick with principle. Um, with the right of blood, you saying this. This process it only takes as long as you take to get your silver, to get your genetic descent back from the geneticist, to get back your proclamation back from the individual who does the proclamation for you, and also recording your documents after they've been sent out. All of that can take probably 3 to 6 months. If the
Mm.
finances are right, you can get it done within 3 to 5 months. If the
Okay.
finances is a little, it can probably take up to a year. I would like to share the advantages of the status correction. I got some bullet points here. So there are several. So one, you're no longer classified as Civiliter Mortuus in law. Number two, you are restored to your estate, which gives you the right to protect and preserve your living estate, which includes enforcing liens as it pertains to your property. Property in law is also synonymous with rights. So, property, rights, status, etc. Number three, gives you the power to be the creditor in all of your commercial affairs in the corporate United States. Um, in relation to your private property, straw man identity that you are the authorized representative for. Number four, depending on your level of status correction, you can enjoy and exercise diplomatic immunity. Number five, you can also enforce your right to not pay any unlawful taxes on your land pertaining to Aboriginals imposed by any person other than Congress as prescribed in the contract that they are to uphold, which is the Constitution of the United States of America. And then lastly, you no longer have any legal disability and can handle all of your own legal affairs as you're supposed to, as a competent adult operating in propria persona, the proper person, sui juris. There you
Mm-hmm.
have it.
One of the bullets that you mentioned that you don't have to pay any of the lawful taxes. Is that what you said?
Unlawful taxes.
Unlawful taxes.
Yes.
So would we say that right now all taxes are unlawful?
Yes, they
Mhm.
are. Because these taxes are being collected by people who are not authorized to collect taxes. The only one who's authorized to collect taxes in the United States of America is the Congress. If they're not Congress, they don't have the right to collect taxes from.
Mhm.
Furthermore, taxes are only for corporations, artificial persons, and not natural people, especially Aboriginal people who know who they are on their own land. So therefore, you can't compel me to pay a tax on my land when my ancestors was the one who gave you even the right to even be here on
Mhm.
this land to do trade and business.
Right. So, would you agree that the fact that people are born in the United States, they sign a birth certificate saying that they are citizen of this country because they were born
Mhm.
here
Of
is
this corporation, not even a country.
right, right, of this corporation is a detriment to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's not to say for you to give up everything and renounce your citizenship and all that. No, you just have to learn how to operate in commerce because everything is contractual in the
Hmm.
United States. So once you understand contract law, you can get along with the United States well.
But
Notice on
again,
every application, they want you to answer, are you a U.S. citizen?
yes, can you speak about that? Can you speak about when somebody signs an application, should they write their name? Should they sign their name? Should they add anything else to their name when
You
they're
should
signing it?
always sign with reservation of your rights. You should not be signing anything without reservation of your rights. And the electronic contracts are the most dangerous because you don't have that option. So me personally and people, my students, I tell them to always get a paper contract, paper everything. You need to see the wet ink signature.
Hmm.
Um, and like I said, always reserving your rights on any and all contracts. I don't care if it's a check. I don't care if it takes you 2 minutes to write your signature because sometimes it takes me like a minute and a half.
So you're saying if I have a contract, I write my name, Tama Engel, and then with reserving your rights on it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is writing that on the signature or after the signature? What does that do?
What does
What
that
power
do?
does that have?
That has a lot of power because they always verify signatures. And
Hmm.
so when they go to verify your signature and they see a notation of, in my case, I'm gonna give you a prime example, my student loan debt that I was able to discharge before I even corrected my status, before I even knew anything, before I even properly proclaimed my nationality or any of that stuff. I literally was able to discharge my debt, my student loan debt. It wasn't a lot, it was only like 3 grand or something. But I was able to do that using the power of my signature. I signed the contract. I promised to pay them back. Um, and I signed that contract under reservation of rights. And on the day of I was supposed to pay, I went to go see the bursar. And the
Mm.
bursar, I was like, I invoked, my remedy under House Joint Resolution, which is public law stating that there ain't no money. They can't demand any payment in any particular coin or currency, and that they are to discharge your debt dollar for dollar. So I told him this, and then he
Mhm.
asked me, "What you want me to do?" I said, "I want you to discharge this debt because I don't have any
Mhm.
money to pay you. Money is only gold and silver coins, so I don't have any money to pay you. And furthermore, my signature is payment."
Mhm.
So I was able to do. That's a prime example of the power of your signature. You can back out of any contract that people try to bind you in. You can easily say, "Nope, I reserve my rights on this contract." So
Mhm.
therefore, it's null and void. You can't bind me or bond me to this contract.
So you just talked about gold and silver. Acquiring gold and silver, what power does that have? Is that something that is also part of your process?
Yeah, it is a part of the process. When you have 20 pieces or more of silver in your physical possession, you are no longer considered bankrupt. There
Mm.
is no money other than gold and silver coin. So when you are solvent in law, you are automatically the creditor. And so this is the commercial aspect of the process, whereas we understand contract, whereas every contract is required to have lawful consideration backing it, something of intrinsic value, i.e., gold or silver. So
Mhm.
we take that substance, that intrinsic value, and we create a silver bond out of it, and we deposit it with the treasury, and we deposit it with the attorney general of our state. Um, and the power of that silver backing the contract, or that gold backing the contract, and you just having it in your possession, period, is powerful.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, what do you do with it? Do you just keep it? Do you just
Yeah, you hold it, you hold as many silver as you can. You want to get as much silver and gold as you can. Well, silver because it's cheaper. And the reason
Mhm.
why is because there's only but so much of it. It's not like fiat where you can print it all day, every day.
Okay.
Yeah. So
And where can people buy silver and gold if
I you can find silver on several websites, but I have a membership where you can get members price on the
Okay.
silver and not pay extra taxes and shipping and all that extra stuff. Um, so if you find me on my social media, I can send you guys that link so you don't have to pay full price for silver on the market right now, because you will be
Right.
paying full price for it.
So you could just buy silver now. You don't have to wait to begin
No,
any
no,
specific process. You
start
can just
stacking,
mhm.
start
Mhm.
stacking, get as much as you can, because I
Right.
guarantee you one day you'll be looking at $100 bill and probably ripping it.
Does this type of work make you feel fulfilled? What makes you feel fulfilled?
Serving people
Serving
and
people.
them feeling good about my service.
Mhm.
And what drives me is this humanitarian work I'm involved in, which is helping people understand who they
Mhm.
are and getting their status corrected so they're no longer subject to a lot of the mistreatments that you see people go through on a daily basis. Even as far as losing your property, you can avoid
Mhm.
stuff like that too, even if you so-called can't pay it. But that's not to say don't pay it. But
Mhm.
you know, you're in a better position than the average person
Mhm.
who don't understand this stuff.
I have been hearing about these tenants getting evicted out of their apartment. There's this rental stuff going on. If somebody signs a lease with their landlord, is it too late to go back and re-sign the lease, adding that aforementioned word in
Yeah,
there?
if you're signing a new lease, yeah, you can put reservation of your rights on it.
Okay.
It
And
is suggested.
how would that help you?
Well, in the event, you're gonna get sued for whatever reason, I don't know,
Mhm.
or get evicted. And this is why the aboriginal aspect of status correction is so important, because if you can't tie yourself to the land, then anything pertaining to land or anything that exists on the land, you can't benefit from for
Mhm.
you know and this is why they're even going as far as with these vaccines, and the vaccine and the virus itself being patented. So now you're injecting a patented um
Substance.
substance into your body, so now they can further claim ownership over your body. They
Mhm.
already do, but now it's going to get worse.
So what are all the services that you offer except for status correction?
Okay, I'll go into that right now. So
I should say in addition to status correction.
yeah, in addition, so being a part of a financial literacy company, I offer a protection plan membership in the finance industry for the millions of people who are struggling with not so good or low credit scores. I also work with people who want to utilize our My Care plan in our protection plan membership, or you can get it separate. to create a living will, trust, health and financial powers of attorney, to avoid any unforeseen events such as death, severe sickness of some sort that will require a will or trust and powers of attorney for anything to be done with your assets. Now, because without these things already in place, you're pretty much out of luck when it comes to the preservation of your estate and the proper distribution of assets to any heirs. And this is just one of the other 11 products that come with this all-inclusive protection plan membership. I also offer a business opportunity with the same company that gives anyone that gets started the opportunity to earn income 6 different ways. Residual income is included, and you get you become eligible for life insurance of $100,000, as well as get access to credit restoration services for free. So you can build your credit, protect your legacy, and earn a substantial income while you're at it, helping people do the same if you have a passion for helping people like myself. And so it's a complete turnkey business where you get tax advantages, the opportunity to help others, a personalized website, an online business office, weekly pay as a qualified agent, professional marketing materials and commissions, rewards, and bonuses. And I also offer one-on-one private consultations on law-related matters, debt discharge, trust administration, etc.
And when did you find your purpose? Do you remember the day, or do you remember any details about that? Can you share that?
It's crazy because I experienced a huge shift in my life, and I actually willingly made this shift in 9th grade, where I was a troubled child. I wasn't the most troublesome child, but I was a troubled child. I would get in trouble, get suspensions here and there. Mm-hmm. After 9th grade, I don't know. I just made a decision. I just decided to flip the switch and just say, you know what, I'm no longer going to give my mom problems. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to save her the heartache. She's already gone through a lot. So I really just made a switch in 9th grade. And from that moment on, I became an honor roll student in high school, finishing off. I even got a scholarship for college and stuff like that. So
was there something in particular you were reading at the time that made you shift, or was it just?
Well, yes, that as well, because I did come across some resources that really opened my mind, and one was a website, and then the others was just like videos and stuff, and then I started getting certain books pertaining to the subject, and then it just like opened a can of worms. And
right.
I'm on the journey until today. It's a never-ending journey.
What did you wanted to do when you were growing up? What did
I want to do?
Yeah.
At one point, I did want to be a cop. At one point, I always found it interesting how they operate with their cars and their sirens and stuff as a kid. Seeing how they just jump out the cars, and I always wanted to be a cop.
Is there anything else you wanted to ask?
So you did ask what other profession other than your own you would like to attempt. So I am currently learning how to become a professional trader. So that's one.
So where can people find you if they're looking to get in contact with you on social media?
You guys can find me on Facebook, Kadeem DeBello Campo. And you can find me on Instagram as well, Kadeem _DeBello _Campo. DeBello is DeBello. Campo is CAMPO. Okay. And the YouTube channel is coming soon too. It will be announced on my Instagram.
Okay, great. I think we've reached the end of our interview. I thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
Yes, thank you as well for having me.